Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica and I've recently become a mom of two under two. I have a little boy that's 19 months old and I have a little girl that's 3 weeks old. I thought I would share with you guys some tips that Dave and I found useful when Jordan was first born and that we're getting to use now with Zoe the second time around. I have some tips on things you can do before the baby comes, some things to buy, also some breastfeeding tips on what to pack for the hospital, and also we personally introduced Jordan to Zoe and how we've been helping him with that transition so far. I thought I would include some timestamps down below just in case you want to pick the tips that apply to you. I hope this video helps you out and you find some of the tips useful. If you do, please leave a comment down below and don't forget to like and subscribe. So I thought I'd start with some random tips of things you can do before the baby comes. Things you need to buy that are really helpful. I'm not one for going and getting every single gadget that's out there, but there are a few things that I think are really helpful. The first thing would be to set up a changing station. If you have 2 levels in your house, have one maybe on the main floor and one upstairs. That will be really helpful. That way you don't have to be running up and down. What we did actually on the main floor is we have a playpen that comes with a little changing station and a little bassinet next to it that you can remove afterwards, and then you can use the base as a just a regular playpen. And the side has like a little net basket in 3 sections. So right now we have it with Jordan's diapers, Zoe's diapers, and then we have some little washcloths if I need to like wipe them down, or we also have wipes in there. Another thing would be, I would highly suggest, is to get a baby carrier. I've used a couple. This is a soft one, it's the Baby Catan, and I have the Ergo Baby, which is like a harder baby carrier. For me, Baby Catan was by far the best one. It's soft, so the baby feels like it's in your hands, and you can use it while the baby is really new, like Zoe, or I used it with Jordan up until he was, I think, 9 or 10 months old. Babies want to be held. I know some people say don't pick up your baby, it's going to get spoiled, but I thoroughly believe that babies are meant to be held and loved and know that they can be comforted whenever they need it. So if you're hoping to get anything done during the day, get a baby carrier. I love the Baby Catan. Also, you need swaddles. Babies, especially when they're new, they have reflexes that they can't control. I forget the term of it now, but that tends to startle them. So if you can swaddle them just to make them feel secure, that would be really helpful. During the night, especially too. After you fed them, give them a good swaddle, and they usually will sleep pretty well. One random tip that maybe not a lot of people have thought of, and this was actually, I think somebody in our prenatal class told us this, but they told us to get any soap that we would get for the baby, make sure it's in a pump form, so not in like a squeeze bottle. And I didn't think much of it until the baby actually came, and you're trying to handle a newborn, or even when they're older too, you have the baby in one hand and then you're trying to get the soap onto your hands. It's so convenient to be able to pump into your hand and then just be able to wash them. That was one of the most random tips that we got, but I feel like it's so useful. So we've been using with Jordan more or less the whole time. We've been using the Honest soaps and we love those, and we've been continuing using that with Zoe. Something else as far as hospital tips. Oh, Jordan's joining us. Are you gonna come, Jordan? You wanna come? You wanna come join us? Bye. Bye. I guess you're not joining us. Bye. Anyways, so hospital tips. Things that you might find helpful bringing to the hospital with you. The first time around, I feel like poor Dave had to carry like 10,000 things into the hospital, the way I had packed things. One thing I did differently this time around is I didn't pack a separate bag for Dave and I and for the baby. I just packed one bag for the 3 of us. So there's a backpack, like just a regular backpack that we use for when we're traveling. I put a change of clothes for David, for David and for me, and for the baby. They did tell us because of COVID, they would probably be releasing us and let us go home within a few hours after the baby was born if everything went smoothly. So I did pack clothes just in case we had to stay overnight. Let's say I had to have a C-section or something like that and they had to keep me. So I did pack clothes that we did end up using them. I just used those clothes to go home in. But it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Another thing that I would recommend packing is snacks, some chocolate bars maybe for quick energy afterwards, because you will be exhausted and you will be dehydrated. So one thing that was really helpful the first time around and the second time around was I had fresh fruit with me. I had sweet grapes and clementines and a few other different kinds of fruit, and really that's what my body was craving afterwards. While you're laboring, for me at least, I was not able to eat anything. I was thirsty, so I would have some water, but afterwards you're famished, you need energy, you're exhausted. So I find fruit is perfect for that. And then with some chocolate, you can never go wrong with some chocolate. And then at our hospital, they didn't have any water bottles. I guess you could purchase one, but there was like 20 bucks for a bottle of water. So I was like, they tell you to bring your own, which I always do. I always have my bottle of water with me. So you can refill that as you need. One thing that I didn't get a chance to use this time around because things did move so quickly was a music list, but I would have appreciated the first time around because I did have a longer labor and the hospital kind of had like spa music for me playing with like rain sounds and water sounds and all that stuff, which is fine initially, but after 11-12 hours of listening to that kind of music, honestly I couldn't stand it anymore. So I would recommend, if you have time, make yourself a list of songs that you really enjoy that can maybe relax you a little bit, take your mind off of what's going on, because the more relaxed you can be, the better it is for the labor progression. Next is breastfeeding tips. The number one breastfeeding tip I would give is to go see a lactation consultant. I know for me that's what helped me most. I was so determined to breastfeed Jordan, at least for the first year of his life, and I managed to do that, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without the help of a lactation consultant. These people are professionals, they're trained, they know what they're doing. They can give you tips on how to get the baby to latch on properly, especially in the first few days, which is the most crucial. They can give you tips on different tools you can use. Actually, one thing that I picked up from the lactation consultant before I went to see her, I was using this breastfeeding pillow, the Boppy, which I feel like a lot of people use, but I really didn't like it. I feel like the baby just sunk inside and there was no support. I was hunched over, which just defeats the purpose of having a breastfeeding pillow. And I was recommended to use this pillow, which is called My Breast Friend. I always thought it was weird looking, and I'm like, what's this thing in the back, and it straps, but actually it's so useful because it's a firm foam that's used, so it kind of works as a shelf, so the baby just kind of sits there. You don't have to necessarily hold it up, which can be tiring on your back, on your wrists. This goes around your back and straps it in, so it's nice and secure. Highly recommend this, My Breast Friend. Another thing I would recommend is this Bébé. This one is it's a nursing cover. I don't know, I personally don't feel comfortable nursing without a cover. I know some people do, and power to them, but for me, I like to have a little bit more privacy. And this actually comes with a little, kind of like a wire, and so you can kind of peek in and see what's going on underneath. So I would highly recommend that. Get comfortable with nursing in public. You don't want to be missing out on anything. You don't want to be stuck in a room. Yeah, have you had your milk? You don't want to be stuck in a room when everybody else is somewhere else having a good time. You can be part of the action. Yeah. One thing actually I'm currently doing right now is trying to get my supply up. So when I can, it's hard because obviously you need somebody else to be holding the baby, but I'd like to be able to pump a little bit, like 10 minutes at least after every feed, and that way that signals your body that the baby's still eating, and so it produces more milk. That's another tip that I picked up from the lactation consultant. And one thing that I'm saying this to you guys, but I'm also saying it to myself, don't be afraid to use formula too. With Jordan, I had to use a little bit too until my milk came in, and I'm having to use it now with Zoe more in the evenings now. I am building up my milk supply, but there's nothing wrong. Like, the baby needs to be fed, right? So I personally felt like if I was giving the baby formula that maybe I wasn't enough or anything like that, but that's so not the case. You shouldn't feel that way either. So I would say that's another important tip. Like they say, fed is best. So I think that would be my main points for breastfeeding. The next tips I have for preparing your toddler to meet the baby, what we did is we actually started talking about the baby while I was pregnant. So we would always refer to the baby in my tummy. We would tell him, you know, you can kiss the baby, you're gonna caress the baby when it comes, you're gonna love the baby, you're gonna help mommy and daddy. But we also wanted to make sure that he knows that he's still our baby too, so it's not like another baby's taking his place. And then what we've been doing so far, which seems to be working, is we try to show him extra love. We try to show him extra attention and affection, and if we can give him some one-on-one time, we try to do that as well. It is normal to expect that they do tend to act up a little bit. Jordan's only 19 months old, so that's to be expected. I guess for them, any attention is good attention, so he has been acting up a little bit, but he's been very sweet. Sorry, that's Jordan playing with the camera. Jordan, hello. Jordan, come here. Sorry for that short interruption. It was time for Jordan to go take his nap, and this little lady woke up and she needed to be fed, and now she's happy and content, so we can continue. Like I was saying, Jordan has been really sweet with her. So he didn't have much interest in her in the beginning. He had like short attention span, but every day he's getting more and more affectionate with her. What we also like to do is include Jordan in everything that we do. So let's say we're gonna go change the baby's diaper, or we're gonna do feed the baby or anything like that. We invite him to come along if he wants, so that way he feels included. I feel like that's the main key, just giving it time, let things evolve organically, don't force it. If he's interested in the baby, that's good. If he's not, then that's fine as well. Yeah, just make him feel included, make them feel loved, and I think eventually they come around. I would say those are our top tips for dealing with a newborn and introducing your toddler to your newborn as well. There are a lot more tips. If you would be interested in seeing those, feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, I'm sure there's a lot more tips out there. Actually, I know there are more tips out there that we don't know about. So please leave a comment down below with what you have found helpful with dealing with a new baby in your life. I would love to have those tips, and maybe somebody else can benefit from them as well. If you like this video, please like and hit that subscribe button. I try and post a video every week. I'll see you guys at the next video.